Let us start with our prayers, and I'm sure most of you must have by hearted it by now. Kindly repeat. Namaskritya
Namaste.
Gurum Bhaktya
Guru Bhaktya
Brahmatmananda Rubina
Paramatma Rupina
Sadhanasya Upadeshkaram
Karanam
Purva Sadhana Bodhini.
Sadhana Bodhini.
I get the feedback that some of you were very happy. So let us all start this morning session, meditation. Sit in whatever comfortable position you can. Make yourself at ease. Close your eyes. Go inward, thinking of your family deities, your ancestors, your parents, the acharyas who came into your life, and calm for a few seconds. Exhale. As you exhale again, may the focus be on the tip of your nose and let it out completely. Withdraw your stomach fully deep inside. Similarly, 3 times. I'm sure by the time you is the third breathing, you would be very much here, not only the body, but also the mind. Try to get back to those happy moments in your life. Make your morning happy. Rejoice those few seconds. And from them, also started telling you, start dreaming of your great mission that you're born for. Recall that you are a part and parcel of the universe. You're not an independent identity. You lost your identity. You merge with the ultimate and remain in that second position for a few seconds. During the day also, as and whenever possible, try to remove unwanted thoughts and get back to this meditative mood. As you get into this meditative mood, even if it's for a few seconds, you could feel yourself re-energized and try to expand the dream of yours. Yesterday you laid the foundation for the dream. Make it deeper and start thinking more of it. That should become your full-time meditation. And just remain calm just for a few seconds. A few seconds you may feel it's taking a lot of time. When we are busy with unwanted thoughts, when the body is running around all the time, you don't feel the time passing. But now the time has come to a still. You are in the present. Withdraw yourself from the past. Let not any anxiety of the future remain in your mind. Enjoy the blissful peace within you, the calm and silent, serene atmosphere that you are in. Early morning at this hour, there are no other disturbances. No one is making any noise. The atmosphere is calm and cool. Your mind is cool. And with these few words, we start our satsang. Arise out of your, these are words of Swami Vivekananda, which are so practical. Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. We have mentally decided that we have a goal of not only becoming an eminent Vaidya, a good classical physician, but we've got to serve the society at large. We've got to serve Ayurveda to take it to its old glory of the past. Many of those dead aspects to be revived again, more research to be started. Those that are interested in cultivation start thinking where, when, how, what, etc. And withdraw from all your other external activities. Let the world have its own way. We spend most of our time chatting and talking about how to change the world. Before we change the world, let's change our own selves, which is the most difficult. What we get in India today is free advice. Everybody has something to advise to other people. But let the goal be fixed and arise from your sleeping mood. We have slept enough. We have never got up to act towards any direction except for personal survival. Remove yourself from that I, me and mine attitude and see how you can start thinking every moment, how do I serve God? How do I repay Him for all that He has been contributing? We say, Durlabham Manusha Rubena. First of all, thanking the Lord for having given a human birth. And not only a human birth, but with all faculties in good condition, a good physique. We are able to get the oxygen free of cost every second. You cannot stop it. It keeps on going in and going out. We get the atmosphere. We get the water that we require. All the limited personal essentials are supplied at no cost. Do we even thank the Lord for a few seconds for all the comforts that have been given? Almost all day we are involved in nothing but our selfish desires. We've been pleading, come out of your desires, not your essential desires, which is a part of the family, part of our own livelihood. But what is in the future? Dream only about what the goal, that the purpose we have been born for. And we have a mission, but for which you would have rightly come and join the Ayurveda. And you realize that compared to many other professions and many other activities you've taken up in life, you've taken up a very great mission. Next to God. And once if you can unite yourself with the ultimate, you should have the feeling that I am Ishvara. And enrich yourself and say, yes, I am going to achieve the goal. Goal to offer service to society. Awake. We were sleeping to the reality. And from that time that you awake and start concentrating as much time as possible towards a goal that you have set for yourself. And we are joining a large fraternity of Vaidyas. Even this many few of us concentrating, meditating, and thinking of a same topic. has its own power. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi has done large amount of research of joint meditation, joint focused thinking, and he has recorded how that atmosphere above which you find there are changes, there are better vibrations, there are less crimes that's happening. Ever since this lockdown started, we hear less of ambulances, which means people have started becoming self-controlled. Earlier, every hour you could hear at least 20 to 30 ambulances, but now during the whole day you find, so even unknowingly, under compulsion, if you're locked down, you're able to withdraw from many of your pains and aches and pains and so-called illnesses, most of which is mental and not physical. It's an inner feeling that I'm not keeping well, I'm unwell and I need to go to a hospital. That thought has reduced. I've been visiting various hospitals, including our own hospital, and you find less and less patients voluntary on their own. That means there has not been a crisis in your own self, which means you can control your mind. And the more you withdraw from the outer world, automatically you are meditating within you, and that brings a lot of quietness. Yesterday I was mentioning that unfortunately we are not aware of great masters of India. There have been great thinkers, there have been great freedom fighters. And these freedom fighters won the war or won freedom or independence, not because of their physical ability. The whole world would have thought with arms. But the Indian way of doing things was through the mind, through improving the power of your mind. Gandhiji read his Bhagavad Gita every day. I hope all of you have started reading the Bhagavad Gita at least one sloka a day. They say Bhagavad Gita is the tongue of the Lord. Start reading a shloka and may not make much sense to you. But as you get more and more oriented into reading Bhagavad Gita, it's like a radar. Every morning I randomly open, as advised by masters, some chapter and some shloka. And after reading that, I smile and say, oh yes, I get the point, Lord. This is going to be my day. And that gives you so much of confidence to work in the outer world. All of us, for no reason, have a fear within us. What are you scared of? I don't know. But there's an inborn fear that gets removed. And the Lord speaks to you. There are beautiful stories of Bhagavad Gita. And it's not enough that you mechanically read it, but feel it. There's a great incident in Srirangam temple where there was a great Panditji who used to come and read the Bhagavad Gita aloud. And after some time, people started listening carefully to him and found that he was missing certain words in between the shloka. And then at that time, they heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Bengal was visiting Sri Lanka. The committee thought we should shift this Brahmin who's reading the Bhagavad Gita all wrongly to a quiet corner of the temple so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't see this great Pandit of Tamil Nadu chanting the Bhagavad Gita wrongly. The moment Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reaches the front of the temple, he asks them, where is this Panditji reading? Who is it who is reading Bhagavad Gita? They said, oh my God, we are going to expose the Tamil Nadu Pandits' shortcomings. Anyway, having been asked, Chaitanya who goes and joins the Pandit, and they find the Tamil Nadu Pandit and the Bengal saint both chanting the Gita wrongly. So after the whole reading was over, some of them got the courage to go and ask, excuse us for our ignorance. How come that you great masters are reading the Bhagavad Gita wrongly? They both smiled and laughed and said, the problem is as we start reading, we start experiencing the feel. We get the feeling that we are there. And during those few moments when you're experiencing, we are in tears. And we miss those words where our presence has been shifted to that arena. And then suddenly become conscious and then get back to the right shloka. Not that you can do it that easily, but get into that mood. When gradually more and more of your 24 hours, if 6 hours can be reduced from your sleep, I always calculate and tell people 8 hours if you're going to sleep, 1/3 of your day. So if you're going to be blessed with a healthy ayus of 60 years, 20 years you have slept off. Rest of a few years, your education, etc. So that's another 20, 25 years. 45 years have gone. When is it that you serve the Lord? The rest of the 15 years, your own family issues, building up your own selfish home, taking care of your own children, and hardly there is any time to contribute. So let the time expand in the day. I'm sure many of you must have started enjoying the benefit of the beautiful morning that you wake up. And start looking out for writings and speeches of great masters. Find out at least by looking into who are the great masters of your state. Maharashtra is full of saints. Bengal, there are so many great saints. Every state, if you take, Vrindavan is full of it. Kashi is full of great saints and masters. There are known and unknown masters. At least start doing smarana about them. And as you start doing more often smarana, that's why in many homes you find your puja room is filled with photographs of these great masters. As a young boy, I used to see in my father's office room photos of Swami Vivekananda, Aurobindo, Sardar Patel, K.M. Munshi. And these people are the ones who inspire us. I used to ask what is great about these photographs. And my father used to say, these are the Mahatmas who in their own way, spiritually and worldly contributed. So same way, yesterday I was going through few words of Rabindranath Tagore, another great saintly person who created an institution which is popular even today for the enlightened students who go and study there, and you find many masters that come out from there. Unless you listen carefully and try to contemplate on the words, I'll do the reading very slowly. I told you all that I speak or all that I read are none of them are mine. It's all about the great masters who have been told to me about by other masters. Reading many of them. In the modern times, we have Swami Ranganathananji. Like Ramana Maharshi, Swami Ranganathananda, who aids from Trichy, used to be a regular visitor to a hospital. I had the good fortune of being at his feet on many occasions. He is the one who had the courage to go and set up Ramakrishna Mission in Rawalpindi. And even listening to them, you get inspired. So try to find masters and see if you can go and spend a few minutes with them. If possible, spend a few minutes serving them. If not anything, at least pressing their feet. I told you many often, with great masters like L.A. Raja and Dr. Yeshudasi and many others, I used to go to this 400-year-old saint near Palachi. And beautiful experiences, miracles used to happen. After years, a few days back, I was just suddenly thinking of that master. Very often I speak about him in almost all my satsangs. That day intensely, I was not well. I was all alone in bed in the hospital. And I was thinking, recalling those few moments. Later in the evening, somebody came and switched on the television and said, would you like to see a nice old film? How if they left the body, they are still so alive. And what do I see? That house in which it was a Zamindar's house, a palatial house, I find the same house coming in the scene. And I said, oh my God, this morning I just recalled my visit to that house, and here is the house. I was unable to recollect the name of the village. And a few seconds later, there's a bus going from the town to that village, and behind the bus, the label very clearly showing so-and-so village, which means you desire to experience that space. And after that, they show the samadhi of that great master at the age of 400 or 420 when he passed away. Great masters like L.A. Raja and Yeshudasi all got together and built a samadhi for him. And even now when people go there, I've also taken a vow that after the lockdown, my first visit would be to that great master. So like this, start desiring. You don't even have to go around hunting. That we should meet great holy masters. So I was going through Tagore's words, whose poems and Gitanjali and all that are very famous. Read some of them at least for 10 minutes during your busy day, and that percolates down into every cell, and gradually your cell after cell starts improvising the quality. Basically, we are all tamasic, lazy. From that, we become hyper and become rajasic. From that, we need to become still and become more sattvic. So to quote Tagoreji, he says, the object of education is to give man the unity of truth. So education, today we gather a lot of knowledge, but that is not education. That is earning a lot of knowledge for making a livelihood. Like today you earned a lot of knowledge about Ayurveda. As of now, it's more for earning a livelihood. Give your services to the deserving patients, and they give you a dakshina for the service that you gave, which you use for your own personal survival. But unity of truth, and what is unity of truth? That you are none else other than the self. The universe, and we are part of it. So all the qualities of the God, the great creator, Ishvara, that Ishvaramsham is there in you. There are masters who are called Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba, Bhagavan Rajneesh, and some of them asked the great masters, why is it that you are called Bhagavan? And their replies were, all of us are Bhagavans. Only difference is we have realized it, we are yet to realize it. So feel that richness that you are also a Bhagavan. So that feeling of education should be to give man the unity of truth. Cell phone, my hand, my body, then who is this mind? And the minute that mind escapes from your body, then you just become a dead body. You're not identified with your name. Your arms become helpless. None of the other parts of your body keeps working. So that Chaitanyam which remains in your body is the self. I withdraw from the outer world and try to identify more that self in you. That you are not a mere body but the self, what we call Ishvara. He said, I believe in a spiritual world, not anything separate from the world, but as its innermost truth. With the breath that we draw, we must always feel the truth that we are living in God. Born in this great world, full of mystery. I told you, if you can start experiencing inwardly, every moment there is a mystery and a mysterious miracle happening in your life. You are not conscious of it. Many times when we concentrate that we need rain, it rains. The other day somebody was talking about it and they were explaining how we bought a land which never had rains for 18 years. And after we conducted certain havans, it started pouring and the whole dam was filled with water that came from our own well. And within 1 hour it started raining. So even the rain gods are grateful to you for the smarana that you have on them. So born in this great world full of mystery of the infinite, we cannot accept our existence as a momentary outburst of chance. So it's not by chance that they say, how was the English dictionary born? Somebody said, the bursting of a press brought out the dictionary, which cannot happen. It's more a sarcastic comment that they made. Similarly, it was not sheer accident they were born human. As I mentioned yesterday, there is a purpose. Inquiring for that purpose, only in India we have learned the art of teaching you to ask the question to yourself, who am I? Why am I born here? What is my purpose? That should be the main goal. And to reach that goal, you need a vehicle, and that is what is called your body. You need to sustain that vehicle, for which you need some food, and therefore you earn a few pennies to make yourself self-sustaining. It has to be simple. Austerity has to be observed, not lavish. Ayurveda has very clearly mentioned how much to eat, what not to eat. You need to preserve the vehicle for which you have got yoga. And you need housing, for which of course you need a small house. It's for these things that you should earn, and nothing more but nothing less. Anything earned beyond that. And if you're going to live a life of sattvic, dharmic life, you know how difficult it is to make a few extra rupees. And today when you find people spending lavishly, you can presume and conclude that he cannot be living a dharmic life. If so, how can you ever make that much of money? So anything you think nobody is watching you. The Lord's computer, the Lord's camera is all the time on. There's a CCTV under which you're being observed. But normally, today you are under discipline condition because of lockdown, because of fear of the police who's on the road, who asks you. They confiscate your motorbike and car. Thousands of them being kept in police stations in Tamil Nadu. Pay huge fine. So there has to be something which needs to create a fear in you. But if you are a God-fearing person, and you are clear that it is not necessary that somebody should be doing a policeman's job, but police your own self. Live a life of dharma. Existence as a momentary outburst of chance, drifting on the current of matter. Today, all of us are drifting on the current of matter. All the time wealth, all the time different material, to an eternal nowhere. We are drifting with no direction. We have no source. We don't know where we are reaching. Whereas when you have a purpose, there are people who have desired from young days that they need to do something great. Even at a later stage in life, when they decide that we need to do something great for the world, that the world remembers us after you depart. But how many are there? Millions exist just as mere existence. Is that enough? If you are a part and parcel of that so-called Almighty Lord, you need to make yourself proud, and you should make Him proud that you have done justice for the birth that has been given to us. Daily, try to spend a few seconds, as I said, trying to do your Trikala Sandhya. And if 3 times during the end of the day, as Swami Shivananda said, try to draw a balance sheet. How many good deeds did I do today? How many truths did I speak out today? How many lies did I say today? And if you can start adjusting your figures, you will find day after day, you start merging more and more into the natural unity. And once you come into the focus of the Lord, you find you become, as I mentioned yesterday, more a sakshi. And the world starts saying, oh my God, what an achievement. What you did yesterday was something great. But never fall in the trap and feel, yes, I did it. No. Many times we feel the Lord is making fun of us. He does the mischief and gives the credit. You can allow yourself to be played by the world by saying you are something great, but let that arrogance not get into you that, yes, I did it. He did it through me, and I'm grateful to the Lord. Like this, each one of us who have come have a responsibility to take up a larger responsibility of serving the world for their illnesses, either physical or mental. We say all the ragadi roga has to be cured. Try to not limit yourself and say, I am good and I am pure. Try to make as many other people around you. Even if you start living a right life, the world comes to you. You attract the world. You don't have to be a speaker. You don't have to do satsangs and try to impress upon others how much knowledge you have. Ramana Maharshi sat in silence. Many other great Mahatmas were observing Mauna for years, never even opened their mouth. Swami Abhedananda in Trivandrum, a great saint who used to come and spend time with us blessing you. He owned a great ashram. But he told the ashramites, don't expect me to go around for fun collection. Ashram doesn't belong to me. I walk out the moment I feel I want to go out. I come back. Similarly, now on the banks of Narmada, your Swami Tadrubananji, a heavy-built person who normally spends time midway to the Himalayas, to the heights of reaching 19,000 feet where you go to Mansarovar. He's got an ashram on the midway where only apples grow. And he stays during the season. Those days everybody went by foot to the heights, serving man by making them stay overnight and serving them. His disciples built a beautiful ashram on the banks of Narmada and Bharuch. And he always tells them, I walk in when I come, I walk out, I am purely a guest. That vow should be there that I don't need anything. Gandhiji has told us, you are just a mere trustee. As long as you are on this earth, you have been given certain powers to own certain things. And when you depart, you don't carry any of this except the God Seva that you get. May you be inspired today to do some good deed. Spend a little more time than each day of yesterday and try to read a few lines of great masters. Today on the internet, the minute you press any master's names, India's got so many great, brilliant masters, known and unknown, Nisargadatta Maharaj, like this great sayings of theirs. Contemplate on that. Spend as minimum time as possible on your own self. Of course, in addition to all your essential needs of the day, but most of the time we waste our time on non-essential. With these few words, praying that each one of us be blessed to be getting closer. The questions can be posted on the chat. Well, I would say, don't come out of the comfort zone. Get into the comfort zone. You think you are in a comfort zone by being in the wrong company, by having so-called creature comforts. One side, you don't have to come out of your creature comfort zone. Continue to be wherever you are. Whether you own a palace or you own a huge tea garden. But shift yourself from that. It's not really a comfort zone. There are moments when you're sad and when you're happy, when you're excited, when you're frustrated, when you're angry. From that, if you can shift into a spiritual world, that's the most comfortable zone. I've been into hospitals, in and out of them for various reasons for the last 20 years. But wherever I go, I feel that's the most comfortable zone that I existed. It is the inner attitude of being comfortable. And whatever the external problems that you have, discomforts that you have, should not really bother you. Just being in the presence of the Lord, just experiencing the Lord. In every doctor, in every nurse, you find there is a beautiful experience that you can go through. And if you can start analyzing yourself, do a daily analysis about yourself, every thought that you take, you can make you feel comfortable in every situation. So make yourself eternally comfortable and not temporarily comfortable. How do we put a permanent end to the self-doubts? There is something called Atma Guru. When you continue, it's natural for man to have doubts for everything, yes or no, is it right or wrong? But once you surrender to the Lord, What you do, even if it's wrong, the Lord justifies it by making it right. So don't ever have, but only thing is to make yourself sure that you have surrendered into His hands and coming to the conclusion that nothing happens for a bad reason. Everything happens for a good reason. And to begin with, our limited human mind cannot understand why has the Lord done something like this. Having done it, I was in the US with a broken foot for a few months together. And I found that was the most wonderful time when I couldn't even get up and walk. I had to keep my leg at 90 degrees angle. But I used that opportunity to visit universities and give talks on Ayurveda. Then I realized, oh, the Lord wanted me to be there for that purpose. So conclude, accept anything that is given by Him as a prasad. And then you find your doubts are gone. How we can get the research of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in group meditation? There are plenty of publications. I think there must be a website of his. Get into it, especially in Spain, in the jails he has done meditation. There are many research works of scientifically recording the effect of meditation, what is called a transcendental meditation. There are many of his disciples now scattered in different parts of the world. And again, I would suggest to you, than the external hunt, desire that I need to get to know more about this. And accidentally, like I found the book in Tanjore, Sarsema Library, you will come across some of those publications. I'm sure it is available on the channel. Or if you didn't get it, let me know. I can try to look out for some of those books and publications which Maharishi himself gave it and convinced me and said what powers the transcendental meditation have. How to become more aware in each and every moment. Not difficult at all. Consider every act of yours as service to God. Even if you're going to speak, choose your words, audit your words, audit your thoughts. And when you do that, that becomes a mantra for you. Every step that you walk and go around, keep thinking of the Lord. But for Him, you wouldn't move your feet 1 foot ahead, 1 foot ahead. Like this, gradually, it's going to be difficult. When something goes wrong, the first response is, oh my God, why does this go? When something happens good, do we ever ask the Lord, oh my God, why does this happen to me? It never happened. All these great masters like whom I mentioned yesterday, when Ash or somebody, the tennis, when got affected, he said, why me? Which means there is a purpose. But this realization you can start creating from the beginning. Then it doesn't become difficult at all. How can we differentiate nithya and anitya in the present era? Anything that is from the outside is anitya. Only thing which is nithya is the self in you. And that's why we say to avoid moments of frustration, moments of sad, anything that you acquire from outside has to have an end. Anything that began, and that's why they say the Lord is anityam, anandam. It had no beginning, it had no end. And being with that, it becomes nithya. But anything, tell me anything from the outer world which you acquire, does it last with you? Is it permanent? Nothing is permanent. And that's why we say, including our own parents, our own other people, friends, all have to leave one day or the other. Let it not be a shock that somebody died. It's natural for them to die. So start getting detached. And the more you start getting detached from the worldly relationship, gradually shift your attachment to the Lord. And then the shifting becomes very swift. You don't get a shift. I was one who was very, very emotional about the death of anybody I heard. Every foreign tour I used to go right from the from the years of 1979. The moment I go, I get a message that so-and-so who's very close to you passed away. And I can never control my emotion. But later on, just before somebody very dear to me departed, on the flight from Coimbatore to Delhi, I was reading a book on Life After Death by Osho. And that convinced me death is a beautiful act. You don't die, it's merely the body that perishes. On reaching Delhi, I get the message, this great friend of mine passed away. And most of the time I keep traveling with certain friends, and they all know that I become very emotional. And they said, how come no response this time? My whole attitude had changed. They say everything is ignorance, lack of proper knowledge. Have that proper knowledge, and then you find it doesn't really affect you. I wish to do groups of Sanskrit class, meditation, whereas my family wants to watch movies. Should I just let them be, or a little bit of pressing could be fruitful? Never compel, never insist. You transform yourself first. To begin with, they would be sarcastic about you. Oh, you're becoming a holy fellow. You're becoming a saintly chap. And as you transform, like the snake, you find your old company all departs. And gradually, a new group starts forming around you, but they would be a minority. Let the other majority go. And when you ask yourself, you lost somebody who was a good friend, but how did it really help you to get closer to God? So you don't need to try to change anybody. You change and you become what you think you can. And once you get closer to God, and once He starts performing miracles through you, the world starts saying, oh, what a change in this person. And almost everybody around us are worried. It's only an artificial life they're living. Everybody's a hypocrite. I always keep saying, it's very, very easy to make anybody cry. Just ask them the question, how are you? The first response is wonderful, beautiful. Really? And then you can see tears in their eyes. I have certain small problems. Can I discuss them with you? You gradually start becoming a consultant for them. They are fully not convinced because they know that my old friend is not somebody who is capable of advising. But once their lifestyle also starts changing because of your association, you start earning respect from the same society who disrespected you. So best is not to press, just change yourself. Keep on changing yourself. Take to Sanskrit, take to meditation. Even you're waking up early in the morning, it will be a shock for them, and the comment would be, let's see how long he's going to do this waking up in the morning. Maybe he's got some urgent purpose. Maybe he's on a money-making machine that he's spending more time on the laptop. But gradually when they start observing, because of the early morning wake up and the meditation and the dhyan that you do and the reading that you do, the whole glow on the face starts changing. And then they say, yes, these days we do find some change. Lesser words, more acceptance of any food that is offered. Earlier you were adamant that I need to have only this for breakfast and that for lunch. But taking anything as a prasad, you find what happened to you. First they're confused that are you not well? When you start fasting on certain days, they say, is everything okay with you? But gradually the world will accept you. And don't do it for getting accepted by others. Let them think of whatever they want. Ignore them. How do we surrender ourselves to God, Guruji? Very simple. Make every act of yours an offering to the Lord. And you find gradually, like I told you the other day, somebody says, can we meet tomorrow morning? I say, God willing. Which means unless the Lord wills, you may not be alive. Like this, if you start, can you join me for lunch tomorrow? God willing, I'll try to do that. When you're sitting for lunch, you must have seen many people taking a small ball of rice and offering it on the side. It can mean many things. One is offering to the Lord who is providing us with food. One is thinking of the ancestors and giving them the food. In this context, let me request all of you. One of the main reasons we find in a hospital when we check the horoscope of patients, we find one of the major reasons is Kuladeva Kovam, anger of their ancestral gods. Number 2, Pitrishapam. We are supposed to remember and recall and offer water on Amavasya day for 3 generations towards your father's side and mother's side. Father's father, if of course only if they are not alive, not for your father who is alive, but your grandfather, great-father, great-grandfather, and the previous generation. Grandmother, great-grandmother, similar in the mother's side, grandfather. I have told this to many people, and they say, when we are touring, what do we do? Even into the wash basin, you can do it. If you can manage to get a little till, keep it in your hands, offer water and offer it this way. Not as you give dhan, but a little smarana about it. And gradually you find unknown grace coming onto you. All the ancestors' blessings starts coming to you. So that way, if every act of yours, every moment of yours, there's a great story about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, a rich man whose son was a drunkard, womanizer, smoker, tells Swamiji, please talk to my son. He listens to you, he respects you. Swamiji says, bring him to me. They plead to the son that please come with us to Swamiji. And the son says, let not that old man advise me to stop all these things. I am not prepared to listen to anybody. When he goes, he finds Swamiji's attitude totally different. He says, I heard that you smoke. Very good. You are shocked that a great Mahatma can think of saying something. Only request us, offer that smoke to me. Very simple. What is the problem? He never told me to stop. When you take drinks, offer the first peg to me, and then you consume it. We say, Aditi Devo Bhava. So when I am a guest of yours, you will do it. As a womanizer, when you go to women, think of me and offer it to me. He says, wonderful Swamiji. He's full of appreciation of the Swamiji. Comes back and takes a first cigarette. Then he says, to a great Mahatma like this, I can't offer a smoke to him. Very bad, I should stop it. Similarly with all the other activities. And therefore, you change. So when you say, I need to surrender, what we call in Sanskrit Sharanagati, Ramayana has a lot about it. You start reducing your thoughts, reducing your actions, and the minimum that you do helps you to find a lot more time for your inner journey. Is our institutions are always, you mean intuition, sorry, intuitions always right? Not to begin with. Once you surrender and once you are in the lap of the Lord, it is not intuition. It is the Lord guiding you. And we say, and an intuition today that you will be coming. Gradually, when everything starts becoming that way, you find that you are being remote controlled by some greater force. And that's why when you say, and then you come to a stage where you start telling somebody, it's going to rain today, and then they say, no, it's very sunny. And that's what we call aptavakya. What you say, the Lord comes to your rescue by saving your word and making your word a truth. And this is what a Vaidya needs. My father used to tap at the back of every patient whom we feel are incurable patients. One pat on the back and say, don't worry, we will set you right. And it happens. Later I realized it is more the power of the inner position than the outer position. So intuitions are something true. But when you get into it, you surrender to that remote control operator and he controls you by giving an advance notice. Like today, let everybody travel, not a good idea to go. And later on you realize either that flight crashed or the train stopped somewhere or there was a bridge that has been broken on the road and thank God you did not go, and people say, what an intuition that you have. How to differentiate between thoughts and intuitions? Thoughts are self-generated. Intuitions are not generated by your mind, but which comes into you for no reason. You don't think of a rare friend whom you never met, but something tells you he's likely to come today. Like I told you about an old Vaidya who told his wife that these are the patients who are coming today. Keep these medicines packed. Keep 3 cups of tea in the flask. That's an intuition. He never thought of creating the patients that come. So, get over the mind. Win over the mind. That Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter shloka, where you find about mind, Udare Dudaratmanam. The same mind who is your enemy, who does all the mischief by making you do all the wrong things. Once you start controlling it, the same mind becomes your best friend. So that way, your thoughts stop and you start getting fully controlled with intuitions which the Lord sends you. How to overcome the unwanted thoughts which stops me to do things? Drop them and say, I shouldn't, don't entertain them. Every day, 20,000 thoughts come to our mind. You can't be entertaining all those thoughts. This is where the Viveka Buddhi comes. Somebody invites you for a film. On the other side, you hear that a sannyasi is coming next door. Your mind is confused. Do I go for the film with my friends who will get upset if I don't go with them? On the other side, nobody else is there to accompany you to see the great saint who's coming nearby. Have the courage to say no. This is where the Krishna-Arjuna Samvada comes. The confused Arjuna, who's your mind, is not guiding you properly. Krishna, who's your heart, instructs you, go for this. Later on, you find the friends come back and say, "Oh my God, thank God you didn't come. It was a horrible feeling." So, go only by foot. Mid-noon, I had such pressing work in the office. Somebody important was coming. I had to choose between, do I meet the so-called important person or do I go and meet a saint who has nothing to do with them? I went to meet the saintly person. And all the Shishyas of the Jain Muni were surprised that he called me close by, made me sit, and gave me certain beautiful advices. And they said he normally doesn't spend time with individuals. Whereas later on I got a call, the so-called VIP who was supposed to meet me called up and said he was caught up somewhere in another meeting and didn't come. So this way, listen more to your heart and not to your head. So I think it's 6 o'clock. We have spent one beautiful hour in Satsang. Thanks to all of you for your presence. God bless you. Have a great day. Namaste.